strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome everybody, it is Bulldog here, and I want to talk to you guys about the worst answer in the Q&A, and it's not going to be the one that you guys think. It's not about there not being a sandbox mode, not being live PvP, no raid coming, any of that stuff that was shot down, killing all of our hopes for the game going forward and what they've been working on. It's going to be one more about game mechanics. So I originally decided not to do a reaction to the Q&A because it was basically covered. I wasn't at my computer when it came out, but you guys got the point that nothing good is coming to the game. But there's one question that I initially reacted to on my Discord, so some of you will know about this, and I've been kind of posting about this morning because I completely forgot about it. There was so much bad stuff from this Q&A that this one completely slipped my mind. But I haven't seen a lot of people talking. I haven't seen anybody else talking about it, to be honest. Now, I haven't watched every single video, or I obviously I haven't seen everything, and surely there are some other people who have talked about this, but it's not getting a lot of attention, and I think it's extremely concerning, and it's this question right here. Let's just get into the question first. What does it mean to have more than 100% defense? Shouldn't they just not take damage? And CG Miller's response is that when the game allows bonuses to go higher than 100%, it's usually to provide a buffer against things that lower that amount, and those debuffs to be more obvious. If a character has 120% defense and then something lowers it by 20%, it will read as 100%, but the player knows the minus 20% did something at least. If it were just 120% behind the scenes and displayed at 100%, you wouldn't see any change if you hit it with minus 20%, and your immediate reaction is that it's a bug or broken in some way. And I don't even know where to start with this. This is completely wrong. This answer feels like if I were to go on like some support chat for something and ask it a question and there's a robot answering, and that robot like picks out a keyword and gives you a response that is kind of related to what you ask, but when you ask it, you're like, okay, am I talking to a robot? Does this guy not speak English? That doesn't answer my question whatsoever. This answer is just completely wrong, and this is answered like if they ask about crit chance or something like, what if we go over 100% crit chance? Defense, first off, defense is not damage mitigation. They're linked, but 100% defense just doubles your defense. That's what it does. Going over 100% defense does not mean that you don't take any damage. So that to give a direct answer to the question, no, it does not mean they don't take damage. It just doubles your defense. You can get plus 200% defense, and that will increase your defense by 200%, which will increase your damage mitigation. The more defense you get, the less valuable each point of defense is. You get diminishing returns, so you will never get to 100% damage mitigation on defense alone. So the extra defense is not just what's he saying, providing a buffer against something that lowers your defense. More defense always equals more damage mitigation. You always want more defense. So I think the best way to explain this, let me go into one of my own characters here real quick. Let me flip up my account. Let's use First Order Stormtrooper because I don't think I have any mods. I'm not using him yet. So you'll see defense is not a stat that is displayed anywhere on here. At least I don't think it's anywhere on here. So scroll through real quick. No, defense is not actually displayed because that defense number would actually be confusing. You can look it up on like swgoh.gg. There is a specific defense number, but what's shown here is armor. If we're going to talk about physical damage here. So it's armor for physical. If you go down to special, it's resistance. But we'll just keep it simple. We'll talk about armor because they work the same way. The more defense you have, the more armor you get. Armor is the actual damage mitigation that's going to reduce that incoming damage. So let's go in here and see what happens when we add on some defensive sets. So let's filter this by defense. And again, so let's scroll down here. We're starting at 25.1% armor. Let's add three defensive sets. So these are not level 15 mods, so it's going to be plus 12.5 defense for each pair of mods we have on there. So you need 2 to complete the set, so that's plus 12.5 defense. Oh, we can't add 3, so we'll do 2. That'll be plus 25. That's an easier number to work with anyways. Okay, so right now, from the mod sets, I have plus 25% defense. If you were reading that question and answer, you would think that getting plus 25% defense reduces the incoming damage by 25%. Let's come back over here to armor. It increases it by 4%, 4.6%. That's definitely not 25%. You can see it's not just adding on. It's absolutely not the same. And it's not even just increasing it by 1.25. That would be a flat 25% increase. And that's because, as I mentioned earlier, defense has diminishing returns. The more defense you have, the less armor penetration, not armor, the less armor, or the less damage mitigation, that's what I was trying to say, you get from each point. So that you can never, it's done that way, so you can never get up to 100% damage mitigation from armor alone. You could add 1 million defense, and okay, effectively you'd probably have close to 100% damage mitigation by then, but you'll never actually get 100%. It just doesn't work that way. I guess I don't know what happens when you add 1 million defense, but that's beside the point right now. So the point is, this question is completely wrong. So we'll go back to the question here now that you can see. When you get 100% defense, no, you do not just not take any damage, because all the defense does is boost your armor or your damage mitigation, whether it's armor, resistance, that type of thing. And so more defense is always going to equal more damage mitigation, and that's not very clear by this question. This question makes it look like once you get past 100% defense, you're not really doing anything other than offsetting some of the offensive bonuses. Yes, if we can go to plus 500% defense, you want to go to plus 500% defense. That will decrease the damage that you take. Every single point of extra defense will lead to some extra damage mitigation. Now, when you get to a point where it's just not worth adding it on because it's not providing that much, but it's not just compensating for any defense penetration that the opponent has. So it just boggles my mind. Not only that this answer made it onto the Q&A. It's like there's no screening whatsoever for these answers, and not only whether or not they'd be good to tell us. And again, I'm not sure the whole point of this Q&A, because it was all negative. They've been better off just not having anything out there. But this is incorrect info. It's not just destroying our hopes. It's giving people incorrect information about how the game is actually played, coming straight from a developer. And it just boggles my mind. And it's still up there. It's still up there on the website. This is a live feed for me. It's 9:30 Eastern time on Sunday. This is still up here on the website with no note about it being wrong. It's still there. It's like they don't know how their own game works. And at this point, it shouldn't be surprising, because it feels like every Q&A, there's so many statements they put out where it's something like this. And I don't know. I don't know. They've got to give us something good coming up, because the game is not dying. I'm not going to say the game is dying, because the game is financially probably doing as well as it ever has. You guys should see the amount of money coming in on these new shards. I have spent, thanks to some awesome donations from you guys, I've spent about $1,000 on my new account that's less than 3 months old. And I'm not even sure I'm a top 10 spender on the shard. I mean, there are people that have spent a lot of money on each of these new shards. You've got hundreds of people buying the hyperdrive bundles. There are people who have bought the hyperdrive bundle who can't crack the top 100 in arena, and the amount of money coming in early game is just insane. Not to mention the late game with these Galactic Legend characters and that type of thing. So the game is not dying, but they are really not doing any favors to their fan base right now, especially older gamers that have been playing for 4 years. They're not really giving them any reason to stick around. It's really a disaster right now. And I hope whatever it is that they've been working on, this new mode that they've shot down all the other things that we want, I hope it's a new game mode or giving us something to play. It better be a home run. It better be. They've got to have some good news coming out, because I don't know what they're doing right now. I mean, I've got to assume they're doing something, but from the player standpoint, it looks like CG hasn't done much of anything for about 6 months. So we need some good news coming in. We really need some. Whatever this next announcement is, it better it better be a home run, and it better not just be new characters or something like that. They've got to have something good coming because this uh, I don't even know. It's I I I don't know. I've said enough. I'm not even thinking straight at this point. I'm just amazed at how much of a PR disaster this Q&A was. And I don't know, they've got to have something to fix it. So anyways, that's enough for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. There's going to be a lot more coming. Be sure to subscribe because we're going to do some very cool things with bounty hunters coming up at the end of this month. Here in, let's see, 4 more days, I think, is when Mando comes out. We're going to have some very cool things that we're doing with them, so be sure to subscribe so you'll get notifications on that. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Discord. If I was ranting on Discord and Twitter this morning, so if you want to read my rants, follow me on Twitter. Might not be good for your sanity though. But anyways, thanks a lot. I'll see you guys later.